Hello everybody, this is Laura Susan Johnson. Please forgive the background noise. I don't know, we're doing some kind of work in the house here. My brother knows more about it. Anyway, the movie I'm going to be reviewing today is 13 from 2003, and it's directed by the notorious Catherine Hardwicke, who also gave us the beloved gift of Twilight. But I never blame Catherine Hardwicke for Twilight. I blame Stephenie Meyer for that. Actually, 13 is a very impressive, very real, raw portrait of teenagers in the early 2000s. And how disaffected they are, how jaded and just bored. You could compare this movie to Kids from Larry Clark, who I do not like. I don't like Larry Clark. I don't really care for the movie Kids either, but I did like Bully from Larry Clark a lot, even though it was quite exploitative. I don't like Larry Clark's directing style because he seems kind of like he's really dodgy. I don't really like him. It seems as though he's trying to make a teen porno while he's, making his supposedly deep portraits about youth in America. This here is a sincere effort, and it's a real story. You could say it's based on a true story, so I'm going to put that under my Based on the True Story playlist. Hardwicke and actress Nikki Reed, who also appeared in the Twilight movies, co-wrote this, and this is based on Nikki Reed's own experiences as a young teenager. The title 13, of course, comes from the age that the main character and her best friend are at the time of this transformation. Tracy Freeland, played by, I'm sorry about all the ums, by the way. Tracy Freeland is our main character, and she's played by Evan Rachel Wood, who is a really good actress. She is only 13 years old. They do a pretty good job of making her look like a 13-year-old girl with, pigtails, innocent-looking clothes, that kind of stuff. But she's about to enter 7th grade, maybe 6th grade, I believe. I would say maybe more like 7th grade. That seems like the right age for a 13-year-old. And it's a new school, and it's a rougher school. They're in the LA area, but I'm not sure where. I know it's close to a beach because her brother Mason, who is played by another great actor, Brady Corbet. And by the time the kids get there, they're expected to be not innocent little elementary school kids anymore. They're expected to be like, dressed in the hottest fashions, the hottest trends, the hottest, whatever's, really hot right now. And when they get to the school, Tracy and her friend that she usually pals around with, her name is Noelle, and she's played by future bombshell Vanessa Hudgens. Vanessa Hudgens was not a big name when this movie was made, but shortly afterwards, she, got huge, and it's almost like a reversal of the roles. It's like Vanessa Hudgens, you almost think she should have been in the head role of the bad girl, but instead she plays this really sweet girl who Tracy at first is, her best friend, but then she blows her off with this other girl. The other girl is Evie Zamora, who is played by Nikki Reed, the co-writer of the screenplay. And this is Nikki Reed's story, but Evan Rachel Wood is basically playing Nikki Reed. Holly Hunter stars as Melanie, who is Tracy's mother, and even at the beginning, Tracy, you can see that Tracy's harboring a little resentment towards her mother. Her mother has like this home salon, like hair salon. She does people's hair. She dyes little kids' hair blue with their mother's permission, of course. And her mother, you know, gets paid for that. And she doesn't get very good tips, and she can barely afford to feed the kids, you know, anything other than generics, you know, store brand food. I guess the dad's out of the picture. He's remarried and had a new baby with some other woman. And Melanie, Holly Hunter's character, has had a long-standing affair with some guy named Brady. It's Grady. I'm mixing Grady. I always did this when I first started watching this. This movie came to my attention clear back in 2003 because of Jeremy Sisto, who is one of my favorite actors. Use him as a muse, etc. and so on. You've heard all that crap before. Anyway, his name is Grady, and the actor who plays older brother Mason is Brady Corbet. So I think Grady is the guy that Holly Hunter is having the affair with. Well, Holly Hunter has her boyfriend Grady, played by Jeremy Sisto, and Tracy, the daughter, does not like him because he's kind of like an in and out of rehab dope fiend. He does crack, he does coke. At first you kind of think he's a no good, and in a way you kind of think Tracy has every right to be, you know, upset because she's asked her mother to please leave this guy behind, move on with your life, because her mother's an ex-alcoholic or an ex-drug addict herself, because she has a sponsor that is sometimes mentioned. And the mother doesn't really pay much respect to the kids' requests that she dump Grady and get that drug influence out of her life. The thing is, though, when Grady's on screen for most of the movie, he's clean, he's seeing his sponsor, he's trying to clean up for good, he's trying to, you know, clean up his act, etc. and so on. And Tracy's just so angry at all the past failures. She just figures he's just going to fuck up another time and, you know, ruin things and mess things up. And she just doesn't like Grady at all. Grady hasn't molested her, because otherwise that would have come up in the script. In the meantime, Evie, that's the mystery character. You know, Nikki Reed wrote this, but she wrote this basically with Tracy being her muse for herself. She's Tracy. So the actress Nikki Reed, she's not playing herself. Evan Rachel Wood is playing Nikki Reed, having Nikki Reed's experiences, real life experiences. But whoever Evie Zamora is or was in Nikki Reed's life, in real life when she was a younger girl, she's a mystery. This Evie Zamora claims that she has, there's claims that she's in and out of foster care, that she was assaulted and thrown up against a heater or a hot iron or something, or a truck that was hot. Something burnt her back, really badly. She has scars all over her back. And it's not really explained. And a lot of her stories could very well be pathological lying. And she's overtly sexual, which is, a lot of girls are precocious, and a lot of girls, being an asexual myself, I would have no frigging idea how to go about, dancing really, provocatively in front of men with my, friend. But Evie really, whenever there's a man in the vicinity, or, it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a man, she's very sexual. She likes to, flash them. She likes to dance, really sexy in front of them. One time they're over at this older guy Luke's house. I forget who he's played by, but I'll find out. He's been in another movie I've watched. And I really don't see him in much of anything, but he's not really a well-known actor. So, a lot of Evie is a very manipulative person. So, you just don't know what to make of her. And she's always, once she's wormed her way into Tracy's life, because Tracy, she's, she doesn't like the way she dresses. She doesn't like her little childish pigtails, so she immediately starts styling her hair more adult. She starts asking her mom, hey, I need to go get new school clothes because these look stupid at my new school. I look like a baby and everybody else looks so different. And she doesn't say they all look so slutty and so grown up. She says they look different and I want some new clothes. And, Tracy's mom, I guess Tracy's mom is just, scraping the bottom of her purse for change, because she chases down this truck with this lady in it that she knows, and she buys Tracy a shirt and, I guess a pair of pants or something. I don't know. It's just, overnight, Tracy, like on the third day of school, Tracy wears this new outfit. And by the end of that third day of school, Tracy is hanging out with Evie and her friend Astrid. And they're shoplifting down on Melrose Avenue in Hollywood or in Beverly Hills. They're shoplifting. And when Tracy acts hesitant to shoplift, they just call her a loser and she leaves the store. But then she sits on a bench next to this lady who's, obviously a party planner or something, and she's yapping at somebody and complaining about the party's not this way, the party's not that way. I need this done, I need that done. No, I didn't ask for this. No, I didn't ask for that. And while the lady's back is turned, Tracy steals, I don't know how many dollars, probably way over several hundred. She just nicks the wallet, takes it, and just leaves. I mean, what a naive lady. And like, you can't be robbed in Beverly Hills. I mean, people are made of money in Beverly Hills most of the time. So anyway, Tracy falls under Evie's influence very quickly. Like the first day of school, Tracy is just, I'm a little angry at my mom, Tracy, but I'll just try to smile and hide it. By the third day, Tracy is angry and she's committing crime. It's not an overnight transformation, but it's over about 2-3 nights. So they go out and they buy a bunch of Skechers, they buy a bunch of expensive jewelry with all that lady's money, and that lady has no idea where that money went. I mean, she's sitting there scratching her head to this very day. Where did that money go? Who stole it? So, anyway, it's really, they named the character Evie to call back to, I think it's kind of hokey, but to call back to Eve from Genesis, temptation. You know, she'll you know, lead you into temptation, and she'll lead you to your downfall, and she'll rob you of your happiness and that kind of stuff. But I just kind of ignore that. They just, I guess within 2 weeks of school time, Tracy's acting like she's hot shit. She's walking, you know, with Astrid and Evie, and she thinks she's so cool, and she's, you know, walking around like the rest of the kids are nobodies, and she doesn't get her homework done. She won't talk to her friend Noelle anymore, you know, Vanessa Hudgens. She won't talk to, you know, she won't get together with her old friends on homework assignments and science experiments that are due, and her grades are already starting to slip because she's not turning in her homework. And her anger becomes more and more manifest as the film moves forward. She's angry at her mom. She's just furious with her mom, but she's not talking to her mom about what it is. But then again, her mom is not really her mom hadn't been respecting to her in the past about her feelings about Grady. Now, whether or not Grady's cleaning his act up or trying to clean his act up, all Tracy can remember is all the fuck-ups. You know, all the overdoses in the middle of the night, all the, you know, accidents with crack pipes, all the weird stuff. So Melanie begins to become more and more concerned as she watches this behavior worsen and worsen. She finds all kinds of neat clothes in the really, you know, new clothes in Tracy's room. She sees them wearing skimpier and skimpier clothing, thongs hanging out of the back. You know, this really was. I don't know if kids today are watching it and thinking, wow, this is really something else. Because fashions change. This was really up to date when it first came out. I mean, there was thongs, there was pants that rode past your asshole practically. And Melanie is just, the family is kind of broken and it doesn't communicate well. I think there's so much animosity between Melanie and her ex-husband, who is played by, is it D.B. Sweeney? I don't think it's D.B. Sweeney. D.W. Moffat, I'm sorry, I get those two mixed up. D.W. Moffat plays this husband who, I guess, fucked around on Melanie and went off and had a baby with another woman and married her. And then there's Melanie's animosity towards Grady. And then Melanie and even Mason, her brother, don't get along. I mean, there's never a moment of tenderness between the brother and the sister. There's always just fighting and sibling bickering and stuff like that. So there's such a lack of positive communication there. So it's pretty real, and it's really kind of, I mean, I would say parents should watch it. I really do think that parents should watch it. I mean, it's a little maybe dated now. Whereas Clueless was a fun and cheerful little story for the 90s, this is a dark and cautionary tale for the early 2000s. But you know, whether a story is dated or not, whether the fashions are dated or not, you know, this is back when Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera were, you know, kind of in the, I guess, the reigning queens of, you know, shit pop. And they always wore their pants way down below their hip bones, and they always wore the skimpy top. I mean, now Miley Cyrus, maybe she's up to some, I don't know. I guess the point is, these aren't my kind of movies. I mean, Clueless could be, but it's so dated now, I hardly ever watch it anymore. It's a fun movie, all that stuff, but this one here is a more important movie, but mostly it's important for parents. So, if I could encourage anybody to watch it, it would be parents, even if, like I said, even if the fashions are dated, even if the lingo is dated, even if the music's a little bit dated, it's not that dated. I still hear shit like this on the radio all the time. I would say watch it just to be aware. Your kids are learning faster and faster about sex and about drugs and about things they shouldn't be learning. I guess there's no such thing as, you know, puberty anymore. There's just childhood, and then there's adulthood, because they grow up too fast. And Tracy has to hit rock bottom before she can recover. But does she recover? The ending is a little bit ambiguous. So I don't know what to make of it. The ending is kind of a disappointment because, you know, even at the end when you see Melanie trying to make amends to Tracy, or trying to get Tracy to understand that she does love her, you don't know if Brady recovers just to fuck up all over again. You don't know. I mean, you do know that, you know, as I've said before, there will be spoilers, but you do know that Tracy and Evie, their friendship will be over at the end. But what you don't know is, will Tracy go live with her dad? That's not really answered yes or no. You don't know if Brady, even though he's clean now, will just fuck up again and go back on crack. You don't know if Tracy will, you know, have to be in some kind of psychological or counseling or some kind of behavioral program, or if she's going to be charged with the crimes that she's committed, like theft. I mean, I don't know who she stole all that $800 from, but it's probably that lady, but I'm pretty sure that I would have thought they'd have spent that by now. I mean, the movie takes place over the course of maybe a school year or several months into the school year, and Tracy stole that money on the third day of school, I believe it was. So the movie ends with Tracy struggling against her mother's embrace. You know, her mother's trying to say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I'm not going to let you go, you're important to me, blah, blah, blah. And Tracy still seems to be struggling. And then, you know, go into her room and they go to sleep, the mom and the daughter, and Tracy wakes up. And then you see her on I guess a carousel kind of thing. It's not a merry-go-round. I feel like those are, I don't know what they're called. They're just spinning little park rides, and the movie ends, and it's really ambiguous and kind of leaves you with questions. And I guess you can put your own interpretation in there, but at the same time, I have no idea what to make of the situation after that. So, I don't hate the movie. It's just not my kind of movie. It is a very good movie, though. I mean, I think Catherine Hardwicke's actually a very good director, very talented, and I think Nikki Reed's a very talented writer. And I think the whole cast is, spot on as far as portraying troubled people with imperfections and flaws and pain that they've been feeding with, negativity. And this isn't the movie that made me not want to have kids. I had decided not to have kids long ago. I think the movie that sealed the deal on that was Adam, and I already reviewed that on this channel. So, if you want a rating on this, I pretty much give it a solid, I'd say 9 out of 10. Maybe 10 out of 10, because even though I'm not really fond of rap music, most rap music, I mean, the rap music was brief. It wasn't too bad. So, I guess I can give it a 10 out of 10.